Hey everyone, I'm your host Cadence, and welcome back to another episode of Project Honesty, a podcast designed for young adults, by a young adult, to gain brutally honest, friend-like advice, as well as provide a platform for young adults to form opinions, color outside of the lines, take deep dives into current events, and most importantly, have fun. This is Project Honesty, navigating reality with real conversations and diverse opinions. If you haven't already, go listen to last week's episode called Becoming Her, A Journey to Self-Confidence. That episode is for the little girl inside of me, for the girl that feels imperfect, the girl that doesn't love herself, and a little girl with no confidence. I want every girl who listens to that episode to find the beauty within herself, don't fear the journey, and embrace and love yourself for who you authentically are. That episode is available on Spotify and YouTube, and I hope everybody is having a good week. I know that school for a lot of people is starting back up this week. That includes me. I don't know if you can tell how excited I am through my voice, but I'm not, because that means waking up early every day, but it's okay. I get to see my friends. So getting back on track, if you haven't already, go follow the Instagram at project_honesty24. That is where we release our weekly topics. If you're on there, you would know today's topic, but if you're not, today we're going to be talking about the new generation of kids. This episode's kind of random. Again, it's going to be a shorter one, and it's going to be a mix of both funny and serious. You might be wondering two things. What am I talking about when I say the new generation of kids? When I say the new generation of kids, I mean like late Gen Z and Generation Alpha. Now, the other thing you might be wondering is, why did I even decide to talk about this? So I'm a teenager, and I'm seeing how kids now are being raised differently compared to when I was younger. And I find that there's a drastic difference between kids my age and kids that are only slightly younger than me, and the way that we're both raised and the things that we learn. And I want to talk about the problem that advancements in technology and their impact on upcoming generations, especially how it's impacting youth mental health. And then I want to talk about what these societal changes and advancements mean for the next gen. My friends and I all agree that people born in 2008 were the last people to have a real childhood, like a fun childhood, I guess you could say. And this was just over dinner a few nights ago. Gen Z is a range of people born from 1997 to 2012. So I'm a Gen Z because I was born in 2008. And my personal belief is that Gen Z is the last, quote, normal generation. And I think it has something strongly to do with the generation that the majority of us Gen Z were raised by. The majority of Gen Z was raised, or is being raised, by Gen X, so people that are born in 1965 to 1980. And you might be wondering why. Well, to me at least, and what I've seen obviously from my parents and my friends' parents, and just what I've observed on social media, Gen X parents don't baby their kids, and it has a lot to do with their upbringing by baby boomers. That's a really tough generation. And a lot of Gen X parents keep their kids level-headed and humble because that's what they were taught growing up, and they want to instill those same values in their kids. And one of the most important things I think that Gen X are doing, the majority of Gen X at least, is doing, is they want their kids to experience some level of hardships. Learning how to struggle sometimes, how to get yourself out of struggle. But with this new generation, Gen Alpha, so Gen Alpha is from 2010 to 2025, so some of them aren't even born yet. The majority of their parents are millennials. If you're on TikTok, you would know there's like millennials get made fun of a lot, but I'm specifically talking about millennial parents because these parents tend to be more lenient with their kids. They're less strict, or so-called gentle parents. Gentle parents are not my favorite. They don't want to hurt their child's feelings, and they teach their kids to tiptoe around the hard things in life. a lot of millennial parents also I've seen have eliminated roadblocks for their kids, making it so that their kids think that life is just easy. And they're taking away that struggle factor that we all experience at some point in our life in some way. And they give in to their child's wants. That is something that I'm going to get into in a second. But even when the kid is acting like a brat, they're still giving into their wants, not even needs at this point, like wants. And so it creates a sense of entitlement. And I think the reason why parents, millennial parents specifically, decide to parent this way is because a lot of them are trying to out-parent their parent. What I mean by that is kind of just they want to eliminate the struggles that they faced when they were little and kind of be the better, cooler parent than their parent ever was, which it's a problem. It's a problem because these kids are growing up thinking that they get whatever they want. Now, in the real world, keep in mind, I'm only 16. I only partially understand and have experience what real world is, but I still know that nothing will ever get handed to you. I'm not getting spoon-fed for the rest of my life, or ever for that matter. And I understand that you have to work hard for what you want. Again, you're not getting things handed to you. Life is about hard work. And that is something that my parents taught me, and they're still teaching me, and that I find is a value that I definitely would want to teach my children. Another thing is that these kids don't understand rules. This is another result of gentle parenting, which is bullshit, by the way. Like, I can't stand gentle parenting. And a lot of people can't either. If you go on TikTok and search up gentle parenting memes, there's going to be a lot, because gentle parenting is a problem, but I'm not really going to get into that. Because just overall, gentle parenting causes misbehavior, and the kids don't understand that their actions have consequences because their parents are sheltering them from consequences, which is really, like, not a good thing. Like, in life, you have to learn that your actions, whether they're good or bad, have consequences, whether that's good or bad consequences. And when you grow up not knowing that you face consequences in your life, and then finally you get your foot in the door in the real world and, well, it kind of slaps you in the face. It's almost like these parents are setting up their kids for failure, which they're going to disagree with, but it's true. And I'm saying that as a Gen Z, as a 16-year-old Gen Z, I'm saying that. And it's kind of crazy. Another problem with this type of parenting and this type of upbringing is the exposure to technology that is permitted by parents. So again, giving in to their kids, giving their kid exactly what they want. A name for this is like iPad kids, screen addicted kids, and kids that aren't going outside as much anymore compared to when I was younger. And with technology, it's kind of by default, you get exposed to age inappropriate media too young. And so, for example, I talk about the result of media exposure on young girls in an episode from a while ago called True Beauty Talk. And it negatively impacts mental health when children are exposed to social media at such a young age, because they're getting influenced by people that are much older than them. Technology, plus parents that give their kids exactly what they want, create entitled kids that are growing up way too fast. This is where the term Sephora kids come in. This is one of, if not the greatest example and results of parents giving into their kids and giving them whatever they want, as well as a combination of early technology use. So for some of you that don't know what a Sephora kid is, I don't even know how you don't know what it is, but the definition of a Sephora kid is young kids, mostly girls, having over-the-top expensive makeup and skincare products and lengthy skincare routines. These girls think they need retinol serums, retinols for anti-aging and acne, bronzing creams, 13-step fucking face care things, anti-aging, anti-wrinkle creams, all this other stuff that a young girl, I don't even need it. I'm 16. A 25-year-old doesn't even need anti-aging cream, okay? Let's be so real. And the fact that these young girls think they need it is insane to me. Another kind of token of the Sephora kid is that they go into stores and they destroy the testers and they don't clean up after themselves. Like, all these young girls going in making, what do they call, like drunk elephant smoothies with like bronzing cream and face cream, and they mix it all up and they don't clean it, like stuff like that. And they're also convincing their parents that these expensive products are essential. The bigger problem behind that is the parents don't know enough and they're not saying no. These Sephora kids are known by employees and other customers as menaces. I've seen countless amounts of former Sephora employees, current Sephora employees talking about how these kids are just coming in and being completely disrespectful of the space and to their parents. They're like cussing out workers and they're yelling at their moms for not getting them an $80 face lotion. But the real problem behind all of this is that their parents aren't saying no. They are enabling their kids to act like this. And again, they're not saying no. I don't know when it became like a thing for parents not being able to say no to their kids, but like it is insane the fact that parents aren't saying no to their kids anymore. When I was younger, and even still now, I get told no all the time. But that's life. Like, kids grow up being told no for certain things, especially expensive, unnecessary things. But these parents are just saying, yep, go ahead. Crazy enabling. And they're also financially enabling their kids, making them not consider how much they're spending. They're not looking at the prices. And for a fact, they're not even giving them a reasonable budget to work with. I remember when I was littler and we'd go to the store, like me and my mom or whatever, I'd have like $10 budget, okay? Like she was giving me $10 and I could buy whatever I wanted with $10. But it wasn't an unlimited budget where I could just like go crazy, you know? So that's how I learned financial literacy, is that you learn budgets and you learn that the price of things and what you should be spending your money on, what you shouldn't be spending your money on. And so these kids now don't have any sense of financial literacy because the parents aren't instilling those values into their children. A few days ago, I watched an Inside Edition story. Inside Edition's like a news outlet in the States. And they made a thing specifically about Sephora kids. And so a mom was just buying anything her daughter wanted without question. And some of these trips to Sephora costed the mom hundreds of dollars on stuff that her 11-year-old daughter doesn't need. So like the popular brand right now is like Sol de Janeiro and Junk Elephant and I don't even know what else. And this 11-year-old girl with perfect skin, mind you, because she's 11, is just buying it because she thinks she needs it. And they even had a dermatologist come on to this story and explain why these skincare products are bad for young skin. And they can actually do the opposite and result in older looking skin as that person grows older. So this just begs the question, where have all the outside kids gone? Now, I'm still growing up. And when we grow up, we naturally start spending more time inside for work, for school, and especially over COVID, we learned many more ways to communicate with others inside. But I remember that in my younger years, being outside was fun. When I was 9, I loved playing outside. I was with the neighbors. We were making fake YouTube videos because I feel like everybody did that. We were riding bikes, going to the playground, like just being kids, okay? But 9-year-olds now are spending so much time inside, and they're on social media and they're not having face-to-face interactions with people. This is damaging to their social skills, their emotional regulation, and their development overall. And it makes me happy to see parents of younger kids ensuring that their kids grow up knowing what it's like to have a sense of playfulness and curiosity outside. Because you don't see a lot of that now, unfortunately. And it's kind of disappointing. Recently, I was up in Tobermory, Ontario on a camping trip with my aunt. And Tobermory on this specific weekend was having the highest amount of precipitation it has seen all year. We are talking over 100 millimeters of rain over the course of a day, which is a lot because sometimes when it rains, it's only 30 per day. No, it was like 30 per hour up in Tobermory. It was very, very wet. So the second night that we were there, it was a torrential downpour, like the biggest storm you could imagine. And I love storms, so it was very fun for me. But it was a big storm. And we were having a potluck dinner in the camp's rec center, which is like just a glorified garage, basically, with my aunt's diving friends. And we left the door of the rec center open so that we could watch the storm. So the door was like a garage door, so it was like a double garage door, so you could see everything outside. And as we were eating dinner, we saw a mom and her two little kids that were no older than the age of like 4, 5-ish. They were playing in the rain. She encouraged her kids to get wet and messy. They were playing in the mud. They were sliding down the slide into a giant mud puddle. And they were just having fun outside. And seeing that made me so happy, because that's the way kids should be raised. That's the way I was raised. They should be raised to have fun and get messy and know that that's okay, and that's so fun to be outside and get your hands dirty. And I hope that one day, if I'm ever a mom, that I raise my kids like that, exposing them to nature and getting them outside and getting them messy, because I think that teaches a young mind a lot. In conclusion, compared to when I was little, kids are being raised a lot different. We kind of just have to wait and see what this means for the future and for the next gen, and what it means for, like, say, Gen Z's kids or Gen Alpha's kids. How is our upbringing going to affect our children's upbringing? Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Project Honesty. You can find Project Honesty on Spotify at Project Honesty or on YouTube at Project_Honesty. And to keep up to date with new episodes, you can head over to Project Honesty's Instagram, which is at Project_Honesty24. We also have a TikTok, which is at Project.Honesty. And to help spread this podcast everywhere, tell a friend or share with family about Project Honesty. You can direct them over to the Instagram, the TikTok, the Spotify, or the YouTube to help them learn more. Subscribe, follow, and click the bell icon for updates when I post. And remember, the more listeners, the bigger the family.